Hey everybody, so today I'm going to show you how to make your own natural watercolour binder using some cherry tree resin. Now I've been collecting this resin for over a year actually, so it's sometimes you're really lucky and you can find cherry trees that have a lot of resin, but it's the cherry tree where I've collected this amount of resin didn't produce a lot. But while I was away the other day, I found a cherry tree that had this much resin. So I finally have enough to make my own binder. Now, you can see in this resin, it's got little bits of wood and stuff in it as well, but it's actually beautiful. It's like amber. It's essentially the same thing. It's a resin from the tree. You can buy gum arabic to make resin, which is also a resin from a tree, which is what I have been doing. But I've also been collecting this because I wanted to be able to make my own just to see the difference. So this is a lovely light piece. When the resin is darker, it just means it's passed through the tree bark and has a few more tannins in it. And apparently that's not very good if you wanted to use it for white paints. But I've got quite a lot of ochres and dark pigments to use, so I think they should be fine for that. Might give it a nice golden glow. So what I'm going to do, I found a recipe that I'm going to follow, and I think that bit might be a little bit too much bark in there, but I'm going to put all of this resin, this one included, which has some funny white bits in, which who knows what that is, and some cobwebs. So we'll just get those off. That's probably cobweb as well. Yeah, it's cobweb. I hope there's not a spidey in there. No, it's just a bit of cobweb. So I'm going to put all of these pieces in a jar first of all, and look at that piece, it's beautiful. That's a really good amber, that one. You could make a necklace out of that one. Almost seems a shame to melt that one because it's so lovely, but it's quite soft and squidgy. Actually, what I need to do first is put it in a pestle and mortar and smash it up. So I'll go and get one and let's smash it up. Now, you may be wondering why my pestle and mortar is in a mesh bag. But if you put your pestle and mortar in a mesh bag, when you're breaking things up, it catches any bits that fly out. So this is going to take some time, so I should be back once I have smashed them into smaller pieces. So I didn't have much luck in the pestle and mortar, I have to admit. The resin didn't really shatter, it just kind of went a bit sticky. So some of the resin shattered. So I've broken it into smaller bits and I've put it into the jar. So I'm just going to add some water. I had about half fill the jar with water, so I just need a little more water. And then we're just going to leave it overnight and see if it dissolves. So you can see all of that in there. It probably won't dissolve that well because I haven't smashed it into smithereens, but we'll see. See what it looks like tomorrow. So here we are the next day, and I did add a little bit more water to this jar because the original recipe said use half a teaspoon of resin, and I'd used way more than that, so I thought I'd best add some more water. And I wasn't really expecting it to dissolve, but I've been shaking it periodically, and actually it has dissolved pretty well. There are some quite large bits at the bottom, but a lot of that is going to be bits of bark and sediment, so that's okay because we can filter that out. So now we're ready for the next stage. I've left it another couple of hours. So now I need to pour it into a saucepan and warm it on a lower heat for about half an hour. So let's do that. And there's still a few lumps and bumps left in there, which I'm going to scoop in because that might also heat up. And it's kind of like a thick gel consistency, so we're just trying to thicken it up a little bit more. Just scrape as much as I can in there. Now you don't want it to burn, just want it to thicken up. So we'll come back, I'll just keep stirring it periodically. I'm going to go away and wash this glass out and heat this glass up to sterilise it, and then we'll come back and strain it and see what we've got. So it's been simmering for a while, so I'm going to strain it straight into the jar once it's cooled down a little bit. There's still quite a few pulpy bits left, but apparently you can save those and reheat them and strain them another time if you wish. So I'm just going to let that cool down a little bit and then we'll strain it. Okay, so it's cooled, so I'm going to strain it. I've got my glove on. It's about the consistency of runny honey. I'm going to strain it into this jar. Straining pretty well. Depending on how much we've got, I might put it into a smaller container and strain it again if there's still some bits in there. I'm going to see how much we get. It's looking pretty good actually. It's very honey coloured, so I don't think I'd use it with a white watercolour paint because it would make it, I think, maybe too creamy. But I'll definitely try it with my others. I have some mud that I found at the base of a tree that I need to make up into pigment, so next time perhaps do that, or look in my stories. I might do a short about it, and then we'll actually mix it with this watercolour binder to see what it looks like, see what kind of paint we get. I'm going to add to this a teaspoon of vegetable glycerin, which you can get from online. I just got it online somewhere, and it is, vegetable glycerin is used in cooking and it's also used in cosmetic preparations. And for paint, it acts as a re-wetting agent, so that when the paint dries out, you can re-wet it in with water again, because it's like a natural alcohol solution. And or you could use honey. I'm using glycerin because I don't have any honey, and I do have this, but you could also use honey, which works really well. If you use honey in this, you won't need to add any antifungal agents, but I'm going to add a few drops of clove essential oil to stop any mould growing. If you use honey, you don't need that because honey is quite a natural antibiotic and antifungal. So I'm just going to let this strain, which could take a while by the looks of it. Give it a, get some of those bits up. That's it, stripping now. Not too much left in there actually. That's all that's left. It's actually looking pretty clear. The strainer's working really well, so I don't think I'll need to restrain it. And then that's it. That is your natural watercolour binder. You can keep it in the fridge if you don't add the antifungal, or add the antifungal and it will stay outside as long as it's not too hot, and it should last for a good 6 months or so. But you'll use it up before then anyway, if you're going to make some paints, because there's not an awful lot there. So I'm not going to be able to make up too many paints with this small amount, but I'll get quite a few different colours. I'm going to try it anyway just to see how it compares with gum arabic binder that I've been making up so far. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.